Today on ScreenRant, here's what we see in the future for Wakanda, Black Panther 3, and the legacy of T'Challa. While the earliest that Black Panther 3 can hit theaters is in late 2026, the sequel's recent confirmation could imply that the MCU will actually revisit Wakanda this year.
Wakanda forever!
Captain America: Brave New World, Ironheart, and even Thunderbolts could include surprise updates on the state of Wakanda. Releasing on February 14, 2025, Captain America 4 will notably introduce adamantium to the MCU, sourced from the dead celestial Tiamat in the Indian Ocean. And adamantium is the only metal from Earth that's comparable to vibranium, which is also what Cap's shield and wingsuit are made of. In addition, with villains like the Red Hulk, the Leader, and Sidewinder ushering in a brave new world, the next film in the MCU's line of political espionage action thrillers should at least touch on Wakanda. After T'Challa opened Wakanda's borders to the world, Shuri the Black Panther, King M'Baku of Wakanda, and even the Talakan King Namor are unlikely to stand idly by as these events unfold and threaten to spill over into their territories. This could also happen in Thunderbolts, which will pick up the events of Captain America 4 on May 2, 2025. Meanwhile, the 6 episodes of the Ironheart miniseries are set to stream on June 24, 2025, and according to Nate Moore via Cinema Blend, Riri, aka Ironheart, is carrying the experiences she had in Wakanda Forever back home to MIT. Moore also called Ironheart a direct sequel to Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. So while the current leg of the MCU doesn't seem to include the nation of Wakanda at all, some Phase 5 story beats or credit scenes may just lay the groundwork for Black Panther 3. On that note, the first Phase 6 series, Eyes of Wakanda, is also coming this year on August 6, 2025. And with the animated Black Panther spin-off tackling Wakandan history, this can only mean one thing. As the official logline for Eyes of Wakanda reads, throughout Wakandan history, brave warriors have been tasked to travel the world retrieving dangerous vibranium artifacts. This is their story. Indeed, out of every confirmed MCU project, Eyes of Wakanda will likely have the most ties to Black Panther 3. In fact, Ryan Coogler's company Proximity Media collaborated with Marvel to produce Eyes of Wakanda. Focused on the missions of the Hatut Zaraze, the series will reveal how Wakandans have spent centuries ensuring that vibranium doesn't fall into the wrong hands, reclaiming valuable artifacts made of the coveted metal. And whatever Eyes of Wakanda establishes about Wakanda's past, these long-lost details from history will almost certainly factor into the yet unrevealed plot of Black Panther 3. Speaking of which, this brings us to arguably the most important question regarding the sequel.
Why didn't you bring the boy home?
Will T'Challa return in Black Panther 3? In all likelihood, the answer is no, at least not for the T'Challa that we know. There's no replacing Chadwick Boseman, and Toussaint, aka Prince T'Challa, is too young to become the Black Panther. So if the MCU does decide to use T'Challa again, then it would have to be a variant of the character pulled from somewhere across the multiverse. This would allow the MCU to essentially recast T'Challa, but without erasing Chadwick Boseman's legacy as the original Black Panther. And Marvel may not need to look far to cast a variant of T'Challa from an alternate timeline or universe. In fact, Ryan Coogler's longtime collaborator Michael B. Jordan, aka Eric Killmonger from Black Panther, may just become the MCU's next T'Challa. This may seem like a strange idea now, but after Robert Downey Jr. debuts as Doctor Doom in Phase 6, it wouldn't be a stretch for Jordan to play a completely different character in the MCU too. After all, as Jordan admitted in a past interview, Black Panther was actually always a character that I wanted to play one day when I was a kid, and Jordan may just snag his dream role in the tail end of the multiverse saga. Black Panther 3 could even use Jordan's MCU history to address criticisms about the first movie. Instead of a violent extremist, this variant could still be armed with Killmonger's radical ideas for Wakanda, but tempered with T'Challa's upbringing under the wise King T'Chaka. This alternate variant of T'Challa could even be the one who's married to Ororo, aka Storm of the X-Men, who may just debut in Black Panther 3. As for how this version of T'Challa can arrive in Earth 616, Shuri may already have everything she needs in her lab to pull any version of the Black Panther from the multiverse. Speaking of which, Black Panther 3 still needs to address where the story left off in Wakanda Forever.
This is my son, Toussaint.
After the events of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, M'Baku is no longer just the scariest vegetarian on Earth. While it's not outright stated, the last scene of Wakanda Forever heavily implies that M'Baku becomes the unchallenged king of Wakanda, and it would be quite interesting to see how King M'Baku rules alongside Wakanda's protector, the Black Panther Shuri. Notably, M'Baku surprisingly rose as the voice of reason against Shuri's plans to take revenge against Namor. And while Wakanda may enjoy a time of peace and prosperity under these two, Shuri and M'Baku are bound to butt heads again. In turn, this could pave the way for Namora to break the peace that Shuri and Namor brokered in Wakanda Forever. And in the aftermath of all this chaos, maybe M'Baku and Shuri could train Prince T'Challa to eventually follow in his aunt and father's footsteps. But wait, where does Denzel Washington's yet unnamed Black Panther 3 character play into all this?
M'Baku, leader of the Jabari tribe, son of Wakanda.
While both Washington and Ryan Coogler remain stingy with the details, there are several possibilities. The most promising theory so far is that Denzel Washington will play the exiled Wakandan philosopher Changamire. In a nutshell, Changamire is a more moderate, non-violent version of Killmonger. In the comics, Changamire was exiled for championing beliefs that opposed Wakanda's traditional monarchy. Instead, Changamire wanted Wakanda to evolve as a free and open society. Before he was exiled, Changamire also served as the personal mentor of Queen Ramonda, and with Ramonda, Zuri, and T'Challa all dead in the MCU, Changamire may just decide that it's time to return to Wakanda. Meanwhile, another possibility is that Washington can play Olumo Bashenga, the father of Wakanda. As Black Panther 3 is bound to dig deep into Wakandan history, this could include actual scenes showing Bashenga uniting the tribes to form a nation. Much like any variant of T'Challa or past Black Panther, Bashenga could enter the picture either through incursions in the multiverse, Wakanda's ancestral plane, or a combination of both. On that note, Washington could even play an older, future version of Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa. Emerging from an alternate reality where he never died, this version of the character could finally show us the old and wise king that T'Challa was meant to become. And this may just be the perfect way to recast T'Challa while still fully honoring Boseman's legacy. In addition, either Changamire, Oluma Bashenga, or old T'Challa could also be connected to the Hatut Zarazi from Eyes of Wakanda. To be clear, however, this is all speculation, as the actual plot and characters of Black Panther 3 are yet to be confirmed. As for when the sequel could get released, it could happen sooner than most of us expect. Given the time constraints, it's unlikely that Black Panther 3 is the yet unrevealed MCU movie that will release on February 13th, 2026. That being said, the sequel could viably claim the next slots in Marvel's release schedule, either November 6, 2026 or February 12th, 2027. Avengers Secret Wars is slated for release on May 7, 2027, and it's currently the only confirmed MCU movie for that year. Moreover, as Disney head honcho Bob Iger announced last year, Secret Wars will be joined by a maximum of just 2 more films in 2027. And considering where the MCU's overarching story is headed, it's entirely possible that not only is Black Panther 3 one of those films, but is actually also the trigger for Avengers Secret Wars. While the MCU has seemingly explored every possible angle in dreaming up reasons for incursions, Wakanda presents several avenues for breaking open the multiverse with equal parts fantasy and sci-fi. So while characters like Doctor Doom, Reed Richards, Loki, or even Billy Maximoff could create Battleworld, the primary setting of Secret Wars, it may be wise to set your eyes on Wakanda instead. Inside the most advanced science lab on Earth 616, the current Black Panther Shuri could already have everything she needs to trigger Secret Wars. But what do you think? What else do you see in the future for Black Panther 3, Wakanda, and the legacy of T'Challa? Tell us in the comments and keep watching ScreenRant.